Hey, it's Randy at Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $10,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 68-year-old female. Now, first thing I recommend is going to our website at funeralfunds.com, and we've got these quoters on just about every page. And all you need to do is just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, and then enter your birthday and the rest of the info. Click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you the best insurance companies with the lowest pricing. You can also call us directly at 888-862-9456. Either one of those will work. But really, the first thing a 68-year-old female should do when considering $10,000 worth of coverage is just ask herself, is this going to be enough coverage for my final expense needs? And typically, that would be either a cremation or a burial. Now, let's talk about cremation first. The average cost of a cremation in the United States right now is between $1,000 to $2,000. That's if you come home in a cardboard box or an urn. Now, if you're going to have some sort of a ceremony, like a celebration of life or remember it ceremony with the cremation, that's probably going to be $3,500 to $4,500. So coverage-wise, what would you need? Well, for that plan where you're going to get cremated and come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend between $5,000 and $7,000 worth of coverage. Now, you might be saying, well, Randy, you said, it should be like maybe $2,000 for the cremation, but now you're recommending $5,000 for coverage. What's going on there? Well, yeah. I mean, our 68-year-old female probably hoping to make it to 78, maybe even 88, right? So, we know that the cost of a cremation now is not going to be the cost of a cremation 5 or 10 years from now. So what we want to do is just build in a little extra coverage there to adjust for the cost of inflation as time goes on. So what that ends up doing is that if you get the $5,000 policy, that inflation proofs the plan for many years to come. And, God forbid you died a little sooner, there's a little bit extra money left over if there was some other final expenses like medical bills or some other bills that you didn't have time to get paid off, credit card bills or something like that. So it works great, protects both long-term and short-term. Now, for that cremation where you're going to have the ceremony, we'd typically recommend around $7,000 to $10,000. Same reasons, inflation proofs it, provides some extra funds kind of upfront if you were unfortunate not to live as long as you thought. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. And if you pretty much walk into any funeral home in the United States with the $10,000 check, they should get it done for you. It's hard to imagine that they would say no to that and let you walk out the door, head 2 blocks down the street to their competitor and give that money to them. Just understand $10,000 is not going to be a fancy funeral. It's very bare bones. Just understand that. So for a 68-year-old female, we would generally recommend somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000, up to $20,000, depending on your financial situation. But keep in mind, if you're on a fixed or limited income and things are a little tight, you're better off with $10,000 than no 1,000. And if you get the $10,000, we can always help you add more coverage later if you need that in the future. Now, one thing we don't recommend is like over insuring. Sometimes people will say, well, we want to leave, money for our kids. So we want a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 policy. And then they'll see the pricing and it's kind of out of the range and they go, well, I'm not going to do anything then. Well, now you've just condemned your kids to paying for your final expenses, which is what you wanted to take care of in the first place. So don't, I'm not sure if selfish is the right word, but it sure kind of seems selfish to say, if I can't do it all, I'm not going to do anything, because your kids are going to have to pay for this. And chances are they're going to have to throw it on their credit cards at 26% interest. So just have reasonable expectations. If you need to start smaller, you can always start smaller. And once you have this in place, you could always take out a separate policy to cover just the kids. Just give the kids money and not worry about blending the two. That works for a lot of people. So one thing we always recommend getting is first aid coverage or benefits. That's the only thing we help people with at Funeral Funds of America. We do not recommend the 2-year waiting period plans at all. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But what first aid coverage means is that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write that check for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever it is. That's the best coverage there is. It's also got the lowest premium, believe it or not. That's exactly what you want. Now, some people would say, hey, Randy, I do like that first day coverage, but I know they ask health questions and I'm not in the best of health. So I'm not sure I could qualify. And we say, hey, your health is our problem, not yours, at least when it comes to this insurance. And that's why we work with so many different insurance companies, because they all ask different health questions. They all have different underwriting. And right now, 90 to 95% of the time, we're getting people first day coverage or benefits. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first day coverage would be if you had some really significant health issues going on. Maybe you just waited too long, but you had a terminal illness and you're going to live less than 12 months, or you had dementia, or you're on dialysis or in a hospital or in a nursing home or something like that. If that were the case, we would typically refer you out to a different insurance company. The other thing that seems to happen on a weekly basis is we'll get a call from somebody and they'll say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have any insurance and we don't have any money. And now their body's at the funeral home and the funeral home director is not going to do anything about this till he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get paid by the insurance company to pay the funeral home director. We have to let them know that there is no insurance company in the United States that's going to issue a policy on a dead person. That is not the way this works at all. You got to be alive to get this insurance. And it's really terrible. This person went and died and didn't have this taken care of. They knew they were going to die. They probably looked at this insurance in the past and they just, they said, I'll do it later, and then later came up and they just went and died and didn't have this insurance. Now their family's going to have to pay for it. And really, in most cases, the family's going to end up having to put this on a credit card, 26% interest, and they're going to spend years paying this off. And you could have done everything else in life right. And if you forget this, it's going to ruin your legacy. People are always going to remember you as the person that kind of stole their money, which you kind of did, right? They're having to pay for something they didn't expect. And it's just not a good legacy to leave behind. So don't be that person. This insurance is affordable. If money's tight, get what you can afford right now. We can always help you add more coverage later. Now, one thing we don't recommend is those plans with 2-year waiting periods. Now, Colonial Penn, they're a fairly well-known company out there. I think it's just because they advertise on TV all the time. Seems like their commercials are every 7 minutes, it seems. Yikes, all over the place. But yeah, did you know their $9.95 plan? Did you know? It's that's a 2-year waiting period plan. They don't make that expressly clear on those commercials, do they? Their $9.95 plan at Colonial Penn is a 2-year waiting period. But they're not the only one that offers those 2-year waiting period plans. There's other companies out there. There's Mutual of Omaha, United of Omaha, they're lying there, AIG, Gerber, just a host of other companies. And some of these companies have done an amazing job of convincing the American public that the only thing they'll qualify for if they're over age 50 is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't be fooled by such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Now, our 68-year-old female is probably just got done watching that Colonial Penn $9.95 commercial and thinking, oh my gosh, that seems like an amazing deal. For $9.95, I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for $9.95. And then she calls Colonial Penn and talks with one of their agents or gets on their website like we've done for you here, finds out that a female age 68 for 1 unit of coverage, it's going to cost $9.95. It's only going to buy $1,112 worth of coverage. Man, that's, that may buy a cremation in some parts of the country, but I can tell you what, in most parts of the country, it's not going to. But even if it did, you got to consider this plan won't pay out any money in the first 2 years because it's got a 2-year waiting period if you die of any health or medical reason. Why would you ever get a plan that's so underfunded at $9.95 that's going to force you into a 2-year waiting period, and it's inflation's going to take its toll because things are going to be more expensive 2 years from now. So $1,112 is not going to be worth that in 2 years. So there's some people out there would say that these companies that offer these teaser rates, these really low rates, They do so not to sell that plan. That's not their intent, is to sell a bunch of $9.95 plans. Their intent is to get a bunch of interest in a really low teaser rate and have people call in and get their info and get them in their marketing funnels. And then once they get them on the phone, try to upsell them once they see how minimal the coverage is at $9.95, and then try to upsell them into more profitable products for them. Higher coverage amount for you, more expensive and more profitable for them. Now, we would never say anything like that about Colonial Penn at all, but some people would. And I guess you'll just have to kind of determine that yourself, just kind of thinking if $1,112 for $9.95 is going to do you any good at all. So let's look at 10,000. They got the Colonial Penn goes by units. You can't buy $10,000 on the nose if you're a 68-year-old female. You just can't do it. You got to finagle around with these numbers. I'm going to guess we're going to be around 9 units. There we go. Yeah. So 9 units is going to be $10,008, right? I guess that $8 is really important to Colonial Penn. I don't know what that will buy. I don't know. Anyway, that's as close as you're going to get. Pretty much every other insurance company, you can buy 10,000 on the nose, but the reason they do this unit pricing is so they can offer $9.95 per unit and offer teaser rates, some people would say. So just understand, looking here, this is $10,008. This is going to be about $90. So is that a good deal? I don't know, probably not, but let's take a look. Let's look at first day coverage. So we got 10,000 here, female, age 68. And we're going to click the Get Quotes button. And again, this is $10,000 for $90. Look at what we can get this for. I'm going to take this up here, show you again. $10,000. Okay. $47. So if you look at Colonial Penn here, they are almost, not quite, but almost 200% more expensive than first day coverage. Why would you ever pay like $90 a month for $10,008 coverage when you could pay $47 for $10,000 worth of coverage? And this is level. This means first day coverage. And Colonial Penn's going to have that 2-year waiting period. So why would you ever, ever, ever do that? It's just so much more money. Colonial Penn is right around $42 more a month. So that's roughly around $504 a year more. And if our 68-year-old female lives to 78, going to end up paying right around $5,040 more. Just say $5,000. So after 10 years with Colonial Penn versus a first day coverage company, you'll have overpaid over $5,000 in premium, roughly, on a $10,000 policy. Does that make sense? I don't know where you live, but that does not make sense in my neighborhood. So here's the deal. If you're not a smart consumer when it comes to insurance, that's okay. Let us help you be a smart consumer, and we can save you lots of money, because I tell you one thing, we would rather see you have that $5,000 in your bank account rather than that be in the insurance company's bank account. Let's look at some other companies here. We'll be able to see here. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Like Lincoln Heritage. I mean, they're a fine company, I guess, right? They're expensive, right? Almost $70. They are level coverage, which is first day coverage, but they're more expensive. And the reason they're more expensive is they've got a deal that when you pass away, they will supposedly call 2 or 3 different funeral homes and get the lowest pricing. And they'll do a couple other things supposedly, but they do not do that for free. They charge more money for that. And you've got to factor that in because you want to be a smart consumer. So they're roughly $70 versus $47. So that's roughly $23 more a month, and multiply that times 12 months in a year. That's right around $276 a year more. And if our 68-year-old female lives to age 78, you will have overpaid roughly $2,760 more just to have them phone 2 or 3 funeral homes and maybe do a couple other things that may only take an hour or so to do. So you got to ask yourself, is it worthwhile to you to pay just under $3,000 for them to spend an hour or so doing something? You know, most people would say that's a pretty good payday for that insurance company. We would agree. We recommend you don't do that. We recommend you go with the better price product. And then what we offer at Funeral Funds of America, you can download this off our website for free. It's a free funeral and estate planning guide. And you download that off our website, and then you just print it out, and then you fill it out. You write down who gets what and what goes where and what you want to happen after you're gone. And once you're done with that, then you keep that with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, your family's going to be protected both financially with the insurance policy, but also emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. And all they'll need to do is open that up and just follow your wishes. They'll just need to execute what you've written down, and they will have that peace of mind knowing that they've done everything exactly as you wanted because you provided the money, and they have no stress other than just grieving your loss. And what a wonderful gift of love you will leave behind. And they will know that you not only love them in life, but you actually love them in death too, which is actually when they're going to need you most after grieving, losing you. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. And we can help you out with that. Go to funeralfunds.com, and we've got a special quote for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. You can get the best price and the lowest discounts. We've got a great quote there for you. You can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you out. And, if you have an existing policy and you want us to price shop it to see if we can save you money, or you just want to add coverage to it, we can help you out with that. If you are looking for a brand new plan and or you just have some questions or concerns you want answered, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to helping you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you out with this at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.